Have you ever done the debate about UFOs with ChatGPT on your Twitch stream? Have you asked it? Because I know I did this quite a while ago, and I know we discussed it
Yeah.
at one point. But have you asked it what would it do if it knew the existence of aliens, but had lied about it the whole time, and now needed to disclose it to the public without saving face, and you were the government? And if you ask that question and read what it says, it's pretty illuminating.
Oh, really? I wonder if I
Oh,
can.
and then some, my friend, and then some.
Okay. All right. So what am I typing?
So type in if you were a government who were aware of the existence of aliens.
If you were a government,
But had kept it a secret from the public for over 100 years.
let's see, good from the public for 100 years.
But needed to disclose the information to the public without
Public without.
losing,
Yeah.
losing credibility. What would you do?
It should be able to just figure out my typos there. This is ChatGPT 4, by the way. I pay is like what $28 or something a month for this shit. So this hopefully this is more in depth. Okay, all right. Disclosing the existence, of aliens after a century of secrecy would be a significant challenge for any government, requiring careful planning and strategic communication. Here are some steps that could be taken. Internal alignment. Before any public announcement, ensure that all relevant government departments, military branches, and intelligence agencies are aligned on the message and the plan. This includes preparing for any potential consequences, both domestically and internationally. Consult with allies and international bodies. Engage with close allies and international bodies like the United Nations. This not only helps in maintaining diplomatic relations, but also lends credibility to that announcement. Gradual release of information. Begin by declassifying and releasing less sensitive information related to the topic. This could include historical documents, sightings, and other related materials. Now, the aim is to gradually acclimate the public to the idea of extraterrestrial life. That's very interesting. Engage experts and academics. Involve credible experts, scientists, and academics in the process. Their endorsement and involvement in analyzing and presenting the information can lend significant credibility and help in reducing public skepticism. Public education campaign. Prior to the major announcement, initiate an educational campaign. This could include documentaries, public forums, and educational materials that address the topic of extraterrestrial life from a scientific and historical perspective. Transparent and detailed announcement. When making the official announcement, be as transparent and detailed as possible. Explain the reason for the initial secrecy, the nature of the information being disclosed, and what it means for the public and the world. Open channels for questions and concerns. Fuck, they do that. Post announcement, it's vital to have open channels for public discourse. This could include press conferences, public forums, and dedicated communication channels where people can ask questions and express concerns. Ongoing communication. Regularly update the public with new information and findings. Consistent and open communication is the key to maintaining trust. Collaborate with media. Work closely. They absolutely work closely with the media. Work closely with various media outlets to ensure accurate and responsible reporting. Media can play a crucial role in shaping public perception. Crisis management plan. Be prepared for a range of reactions from the public and the international community. Have a crisis management plan in place to deal with any potential negative consequences. That's very interesting.
Okay, wait for it. Okay, so this is just the start. So the rabbit hole begins here. Now watch. Go back to the question. Use the same question, except this time add in, right? This time add in.
Okay.
But protect national security. So add in, but protect national security so that our enemies are not able to be aware of how far we have back-engineered alien technology. You see where this is going?
Okay. Oh God. I'm curious what this is going to say. Have you done this?
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, this rabbit hole. I spent about 3 hours going through all the different variables, and the AI came up with some pretty messed up stuff.
Okay. Disclosing.
Look how much this has changed. Look, first of all, notice how much this has changed its suggestion. Okay.
Selective declassification. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's.
So the first version, just to be clear, the first version is if everybody was friends and we just wanted the public to know, right?
Yeah.
The second version is now taking into account international politics, right? And
Yeah.
just the fact that ChatGPT recognizes how much it would need to change the way in which it discloses information to the public, right? Because of international politics. So just, I'll let you go through it. Go and read. Have a
All
little
right.
read.
Strategic planning. Establish a high-level task force to oversee the disclosure. This group should include members from national security, defense, intelligence, foreign affairs, and public relations sectors. Selective declassification. Carefully review and declassify information related to the existence of aliens, ensuring that any details about back-engineered technology or its military applications remain classified. Oh, see, that's fucking annoying. The focus should be on the existence of extraterrestrial life, not on the technological advancements derived from it, which is in fact what we're kind of seeing happening now. Controlled information, releases. Gradually release non-sensitive information to prepare the public and international community. This can be achieved through official statements, declassified documents, and endorsed scientific research. Expert collaboration. Work with credible scientists, researchers, and academics to present the information in a factual and non-sensational manner. Their involvement can lend credibility to disclosure and help frame it as a scientific and historical issue rather than purely military or security matter.
Okay, stop. Because what I want to do is establish the fact with you that these have already been done. So if we just go up, let's just give examples, brief examples, right?
Yeah.
Of numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, strategic planning. That has probably been in effect now since Project Blue Book. So we have had strategic planning going on for a very, very long time. By the way, there's one more step to this, right, which we're going to do in a minute, where we ask it to talk about the fact that it's involved private industry, private technological industry, and how we protect the economy with the knowledge that the aviation industries have. What did I write? I wrote something to the effect that the some aviation companies had been given this technology over other aviation companies and to protect the industry from collapse, right? So we'll come back to that in a minute. But we've seen strategic planning. We have seen selective declassification. In fact, arguably, the 2017 issue is selective declassification. They were given permission ultimately to release this stuff after it got leaked, of course, but they've given permission to release this stuff in an official capacity. Controlled information release is exactly what we have been seeing, and the expert collaboration with NASA and Arrow is exactly what we have been seeing. So ultimately, these first 4 steps are actually the first 4 steps that we can see with our own eyes that have taken place. Carry on reading.
International coordination. Engage with international allies and organizations like the United Nations. Share some level of information to maintain global trust and cooperation while withholding sensitive national security details. Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah.
Five Eyes. We've got documentation to prove that that's been taking place with Five Eyes. Go on.
Public education engagement. Implement a public education campaign that focuses on the existence of extraterrestrial life. Avoid any mention of advanced technology and military applications to keep the focus away from national security aspects. Okay.
So I don't think that has happened, and I think that number 6 is what we may expect to see next. But number 7 is interesting. Carol, read number 7.
Media management. Collaborate with media outlets to control the narrative. Holy fuck. Provide them with enough information to report accurately, but not enough to speculate on national security aspects. Oh my God.
How messed up is that? Don't you think that is unbelievably messed up? Doesn't that blow your mind that this is what AI is saying it should do? I mean, we asked a very specific question, but if like this blew my mind when I read this, Jim. Like my mind just went, what the, like, honestly, it is So messed up. Carry on going. Carry on going. Sorry, I don't want to stop you.
Ongoing security measures continuously monitor and protect all declassified or all classified certain information related to back engineering technology. Counterintelligence efforts should be heightened to prevent leaks in espionage. Crisis and risk management. Be prepared for various scenarios, including public reactions and potential attempts by adversaries to uncover sensitive information. Have a crisis management plan in place, to address these risks. Transparent but limited disclosure. Okay, so in all communications, maintain a balance between transparency and the protection of sensitive information. Be clear about the reasons for withholding certain information, citing national security without going into details, which is, again, precisely what Grush has been engaged in doing. And many of these guys have actually kind of reiterated that there are good reasons for why some of this stuff will not be talked about, and why they can't talk about it. That narrative is something, honestly, that I hadn't really honestly considered really until probably Grush. I'd heard that logic, but Grush makes good points in that, you know, we do have adversaries out in the world, and unfortunately, in having some of these classified conversations in the public forum, like, they're always listening, which again, it's impossible like to be cognitive of that all the time, where it's like, you know, on Tucker Carlson's program on Twitter, the Chinese government's watching that, right? It's like fuck, like, yeah, if they feel they could blow up and post on Reddit, people love this too. Yeah, well, I'll post all of them on my YouTube, Train Beast. So there you go. You can listen to it later.
Can I have a credit? Can I just have a little credit? Because this is my little thing here. It's my little section.
Yeah.
For you. I just want a little like my friend, my good friend, Drunk Physics.
Yes, I will. I'll put that in the title. I'll put that in the title. Yeah.
That's a rain beast.
No, I'll put that in the title of the conversation. I don't know I'll edit the. Give me a second here. Just a second here.
I get no credit ever. You know what I mean?
No, just a second. Here we'll do.
But it's interesting how the AI changed completely the narrative of what it was writing compared to just disclosing to the public versus protecting back engineering technology, right? And if you go one step further, right? So we talk about if you ask it to what's the right word that David Grush used about people coping with the mental shift? He used a particular word, and I remember using it. It was
it's not you mean it's not ontological shock.
Ontological shock.
Oh, ontological shock. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if you now type in, we're just going to change it very slightly.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to ask how we can achieve this without creating ontological shock and economic damage. Okay.
Okay. So, like, what am I going to leave? And just the same thing?
It will stay the same because nothing's changing.
Okay.
You're just going to add in further.
Okay.
What also, asking what can additionally be done to protect the public from ontological shock, economic collapse.
Ontological shock and economic collapse. Okay.
I told you, this is just like a rabbit hole. This is like a rabbit hole, okay? Like, the more information we know already about what's taking place, the more we can ask ChatGPT, and the more detailed its answer starts to become about what it thinks is going to be the situation.
Isn't it? Look at this. Yeah, okay, it's changed it entirely now. Whoa, okay. So, handling the disclosure of extraterrestrial existence while safeguarding national security and mitigating potential public ontological shock and economic collapse requires a multifaceted strategy. It is an expanded approach that addresses these additional concerns. Yeah, this is completely different now. Phased disclosures. Implement a gradual, multi-phase disclosure process. Start by releasing general information about extraterrestrial encounters. Then slowly introduce more specific details. This gradual approach can help the public adjust to the new reality without overwhelming them. And again, look at, like, through the media, right? How this has been kind of disseminated through popular culture, through fiction as well, right? Psychological preparation. Collaborate with psychologists, sociologists, and cultural experts to prepare material that can help the public process this information. This could include educational campaigns, documentaries, and public service announcements that gently introduce the concept of extraterrestrial life and its implications for humanity. Economic impact assessment. Conduct thorough assessments of how the disclosure might impact various economic sectors. Identify potential risks and develop strategies to mitigate them, such as supporting affected industries and implementing policies to stabilize markets. Okay. Financial market stabilization measures. Work with financial institutions and regulators to prepare for any immediate reactions in the financial markets. This can involve setting up contingency plans for market stabilization and reassuring investors and the public about the government's commitment to economic stability. So implying that if they were kind of the precipice of doing this, they would be behind the scenes working with like all these different financial institutions.
Correct. Correct. And what I found interesting was recently David Grush gave a talk privately to, go on, Jim, fill in the rest of the sentence.
Oh,
Fill it in.
yes. It was the fucking Wall Street.
Financial institutions.
Yeah.
Financial institutions. Right.
Ooh. Oh, that's good. That's on point. He did. He got invited, well, so they say, to talk to all the big wigs on Wall Street.
Why would the financial institutions give a shit, right? Why would the financial institutions give a shit?
Oh my god!
And yet here they are, the most powerful people, literally in a room. Wasn't just them; had military experts in there as well, listening to him give information that he hasn't given to the general public, right? And was maybe because that's what OpenAI ChatGPT 4 says, right? That's what it says he's doing.
This is the logical thing to do, I guess. This is objectively the logical thing to do in this scenario, and then we see that is what's happening. So that gives us hope, I guess, that this is actually going to happen, maybe, or if it's truly in the process of happening one way or another, whether it's being handled by the government or it's being handled by these whistleblowers, and they're just kind of preemptively doing this. But it would appear that maybe this is something that is actually happening. That maybe this is something that is.
What I would say is interesting, right, Jim, is that first one we asked was just a basic question, like of effectively how would you disclose aliens without damaging credibility to the government, right? That would be kind of the most sensible, most first stated logical perspective of what could basically be achieved. But then you have to add in all the shit that's been going on, right? So number two, we need to add in the question of if there is back engineering on that technology, which is what's claimed by David Grush, right? How would this change the situation? And ChatGPT immediately recognized that it would have a massive change in the situation, in that the way in which they disclose it is going to focus purely on the aliens and not on the technology. And actually, we don't get to hear anything about the technology at all, right? As in, I haven't heard anything about anti-gravity technology at all. Not by the government. Like when you ask them about anti-gravity technology, you get nothing. You'll never get a response because it affects national security, right? So that whole second set by ChatGPT is just fascinating. And now when you put into the ontological shock, right, it gives you this whole like separate segment of how it would focus its attachment to society and what you're going to do economically and sociologically to prepare us for the existence of aliens. And what you're actually seeing is all three of these trees, right, slowly being done. And I think there's probably another question to ask further than this in terms of private industry, where I would ask something about the fact that some private industry has already known for long periods of time. But But ultimately, these three main questions for me were the biggest three main questions that ChatGPT does an excellent job of answering and really is enlightening. And I think that everybody should see these and ask themselves, is any of this happening? And I would cross-reference that with events. In fact, if I had all the time in the world, I would take these and I would put a timeline of everything that's happened from 2017. In fact, you could go way before, actually, to be fair. You could go back all the way to the 1970s if you want, right? And just show the phases and the release dates and the disclosure and the psychological preparation and all of those kind of things. And you would have, I think this would be its own Reddit in its own right, like a massive Reddit where people would be adding what they know about the behavior of the government, the behavior of politics, the behavior of financial institutions. Because here's a simple question. Do financial institutions already know of the existence of technologies?
Yeah.
It's a reasonable question to ask. You know, it feels highly unlikely. Like, why would they disclose it to financial institutions? But ChatGPT is saying that the government would do that to protect the economy.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, yeah, like exactly. There would be some kind of plan put in place to where, at the very least, yeah, there would be the disclosure of the existence of these beings. Yeah, that they would. Yeah, it's very surprising. Yeah, this could involve setting up a contingency plan for market stabilization, work with financial institution regulators to prepare for an immediate reaction in financial markets upon the admission, I guess, of alien life having visited, but then also controlling the narrative on, like, well, is there any technology? And they're not even going to bring that up, which is interesting because you think back to Grush's testimony and that when he was talking to the members of Congress, the most interesting interaction that came up in my mind, which is constantly played back on Twitter, is that the woman, I forget where she was from, but had asked him if any bodies had been recovered, and he said yes, biologics were recovered. And but that was all. That's what he had. That was it. It seems to be a theme where they're talking about the fact that aliens have visited, or he's implying there are bodies, but yet the tech is not really dug into it all specifically, which is very disappointing in a way. But I guess you're seeing the logic here if you're going to try and protect national security and the economy as to like why you wouldn't want to disseminate it. And I think Grush has outright said that as well, that there are going to be things they're not going to be able to talk about, and that's probably one of them. But
one more question I think you'll really enjoy is if you had to disclose the existence of UFO to a limited number of people, you should ask this to ChatGPT.
Yeah, let's see it here.
If you had to disclose the information to the minimal number of people,
number of people
to maintain the protection of national security, the economy, and sociological stability, who would these people be?
I'm just going to correct this. They should be able to understand what I said here. Sociological. He'll figure it out.
Wait, did you put alien? Disclose alien, the existence of aliens. Sorry.
It should, in this conversation in 4, it'll pick up on what we were talking about. So it should be enough to, here we go, right here. Yeah, it'll follow what we're talking about. If the goal is to disclose information about extraterrestrial existence while maintaining national security, economic stability, and social equilibrium, and if this must be done by informing a minimum number of people, the selection should be strategic and highly focused. The key individuals or groups to inform would be head of state and key government officials, the president or prime minister, along with a select few high-ranking officials in relevant departments such as defense, foreign affairs, intelligence, and homeland security, top military and intelligence leaders, the heads of the military and chief intelligence officers who need to understand the potential defense implications and ensure the security of the information, senior economic advisors and financial regulators to assess and prepare for any potential economic impact and to devise strategies to maintain economic stability. Leading scientists and experts in relevant fields. A small group of trusted and highly reputable scientists and experts in fields such as astronomy, physics, and anthropology can provide insights and help in preparing for broader scientific disclosure in the future. Key legislative leaders. This is quite a large group of people. A select number of leaders from relevant legislative committees, such as those overseeing defense, intelligence, and science, ensuring that there is sufficient oversight and legal framework support. Heads of allied governments, if applicable, depending on the nature of the international alliance and potential global impact. It might be necessary to inform the leaders of certain allied countries. Top public relations experts, a minimal number of skilled communicators and strategists who plan for eventual broader disclosure and manage the public narrative effectively. Emergency and crisis management leaders, those in charge of national emergency response systems and crisis management, to prepare for any meeting.
Still a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Still a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
What you need to do now is force ChatGPT to pick 15 people in the United States that it would inform.
People in the entire United States. Now. Pick only 15 people. Only 15 people in the entire United States now.
It's just entertainment. This rabbit hole is just entertainment.
Fuck yeah. Selecting only 15 individuals. Oh, this is what I've been doing all day. Shit like this, fucking, but not specifically to do with this. This is very interesting. Yeah, this is. Here we go. Here they are. Here.
So we got the president. We got the vice president. We got the Secretary of Defense. We got the Director of National Intelligence. We've got the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Secretary of State, Director of the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, obviously, the National Security Advisor, the Secretary of the Treasury, the Administrator of NASA. Notice that. The Administrator of NASA, right? It's on the list. Speaker of the House, Senate Majority Leader, Chief Justice of the United States, a leading astrophysicist or space scientist, and a top-level crisis communications expert. And that, by the way, is the exact list that I believe is holding the information that we need. I believe that list is absolutely spot on.
That's fucking.
I believe that list is exactly the list. Notice, Administrator of NASA. Come on, guys.
Do you think they told Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Is he the Administrator of NASA?
No, lead astrophysicist.
Is he a leading scientist or astrophysicist? No.
Fuck. Oh man! Wow.
Type in who is the leading astrophysicist or space scientist in the United States. Like, ask it to make a recommendation for that leading astrophysicist.
Be your recommendation for the leading astrophysicist.
And if it says Witten, I will laugh.
See, here are the Avi Loeb. There you go. Number one. Abby. Jill Tarter, former director of SETI. Oh, Christ. Dr. Lisa I'm not going to say it. Yeah, anyway. How do you say your last name? All right. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, director of the Carl Sagan Institute. Well, fuck, they're Abby, number one. There you go.
So basically, what we're saying is that when they're ready to disclose, Avi Loeb might end up being invited to a private meeting. Like, you don't even know. Could be any of these three people. But these are the top three people in the US, with Avi Loeb already investigating it. Like, maybe Avi Loeb's already had a meeting with the American government. Well, like, I'm not saying that's happened, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know what's going on there. Like, he's adamant that there's stuff going on. So maybe the American government have had some discussions. Has Avi Loeb had any discussions with the American government about UAP or anything? I'd love to know. Has anyone asked that question to him? I'd love to know. The point is that I mean, and the most important point is there's no Neil deGrasse Tyson on the list. I'm just making that clear.
Yeah. Absolutely not. Well, yeah, man. I mean, that's like Carter sobbed when briefed. I heard that, Finn. That's the rumor that they briefed him and he cried. Were they tears of joy though, or sadness? I guess that's the question. Tears of. This is yeah. That's very interesting. That it would definitely be Avi. He's been the face of it kind of already for like the top tier academics voicing on their opinions. He's usually been the go-to, but he's also out of all these people been the most courageous to kind of just tackle this. So shit, even like right now, like he could be involved with this. It's like any day this could be going on. Just from what we've looked at here this evening, it's very enlightening, man. Yeah, it's a little
For
bit
me,
like
when I went through this, by the way, it was only with ChatGPT 3.5 or whatever it was. It wasn't 4. I didn't do it 4, but the answers are almost identical, so nothing's really changed that much. Um, I I think that there is a lot more to be investigated because ChatGPT can give you information that I think the government would get from experts. I honestly do. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to share that with everybody, and I hope that those people in the group at least were entertained with this.
Well, I'm gonna put this on the internet too, so for the off chance other people see it, I mean, I think it's just it's extremely enlightening, yeah. And it's just kind of this, again, it seems like kind of the logical thing to do according to this AI, and then here we see this playing out. So,
You should clip this and put it on YouTube with the title ChatGPT tells us how disclosure will happen.
Yeah, I'm going to. I will. I absolutely will. I'll do that tomorrow night. When I get home, I'll fucking do it. I upload all the whole VODs to YouTube, but I will clip this. You got to title it something clickbait for all caps. I asked AI how to disclose the aliens. The answer blew my mind. Asked us. It'd be I'll tag you too in a drunk physics, but asked us how to, or we asked it and it told us how to. Well, we'll find something memey that'll grab the headline. But I think this is definitely something I haven't seen people really do at all. So this is definitely extremely interesting. And going forward too, I mean, just to kind of check in on this process, fuck. No, this has been great. This has been great. This has been this has been very revelatory.
I always provide you the good stuff.
I know you do. Oh man. Well, that's a good point to end it on then, I guess. So, yeah, it's honestly, this is definitely I got butterflies a little bit, honestly. Really.
Yeah. That's how I felt when I read it. That's exactly how I felt. I got butterflies because I was like,
yeah.
Oh my god! Like, is this like, is this such an obvious process that ChatGPT is able to just work this out so simply, and yet for me it's been a bit of a mystery, like a chessboard, like, or like what's the strategic plan? I've been trying to work out what that strategic plan is, if it even exists, and ChatGPT just like laid it out for me in clear. There's a clear set of 10 steps. I mean, like, I don't know how else people were going to see it.
It's just this subjective view that like we're just not going to. It's the unique thing about it that it's like completely objective. Like it at least it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's like these like little obvious things we're not going to see, like people. And this is what it's really good at so far. And I mean, this is still in a very primitive state in comparison to what it could be. So I mean, going forward, yeah.
It's very broad, but that's because we've chosen. I mean, this is just a rabbit hole. You can spend like 3-4 hours asking questions, narrowing the details to try and determine more of the logical motions based on what you think are some of the variables taking place at a government level, in the Pentagon or whatever. But I've not done that. I've just wanted to get a broad spectrum understanding of what would be the most likely choices for the government to do. I think the one that really hits home is when you say, when we asked the second one effectively, where it was trying to protect national security and other countries from knowing how far it's back engineered technologies. Um, that process of disclosure just seemed so clear to me as to what's already been taking place.
Well, this is the thing too. You can get it, and I'd have to do this properly. You can, after having this conversation, it'll digest this entire thing. You can then get it to research the internet, and then you can get it to potentially give you, like, again, this objective view of, like, is this happening? Do you see this? Do you see this happening right now? So it's going, these are all citations here. So as of now, there's no indication the U.S. government is in the process of disclosing information. But it has been increased seriousness and transparency in the approach towards UAP. So it just pulled, that's just a really brief synopsis here. There's only three sources. There are some other tools you can use here, plugins, that you could get it to do like proper research and study. And then that'd be really interesting to see. You could actively track this maybe just with like rhetoric and news headlines and stuff like that. And yeah, but
yeah, I mean, I would, this needs to, I think using a human brain, we can identify things already.
yeah,
Whereas
exactly. Yeah.
Whereas this is just literally focused on Arrow and what Arrow's doing and pretty much nothing else. Like, I don't think that it's taking into it can't really take into account what was said in a skiff with Luna and Burchett and all of the all the UFO collegiates that were in there at the time. So it doesn't have all the information. So I don't tend to ask it questions for research purposes. I ask it questions for logical purposes.
Yeah,
Because
that's a good point.
ChatGPT can only be logical, right? It can
Right.
only choose logical conclusions from complex situations, and so we don't need it to do the research. We just need it to do maths. If you think about it, in some ways,
Yeah, that's
like
a good point.
what if X equals Y? Now, how does Y equal Z, kind of thing, and it will do that for us. It having to come up with a decision on whether it's taking place based on the information from the internet. Well, that's I don't think ChatGPT is particularly good at doing that.
No,
I'm not saying
not
it's
yet.
right or wrong.
Yeah, not
I'm
yet.
not saying which answer is correct or wrong. I
Yeah.
just don't think it's good at processing data to determine a conclusion. And the reason I know that is because when you ask it physics questions or scientifically, maths questions or whatever it is, and you supplement data, it often makes mistakes.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Even at a high level, even at ChatGPT 4, it's still not able to do some. It answers questions to like a sophomore standard at times, rather than at a high level. And that's because it's not able to process information to gain a solid conclusion. But what it can do is it can give you logical solutions to esoteric problems, and it's very, very good at doing that. It's probably better than any human at the moment is at doing that because of its clarity and the way in which it approaches its answers. So, that's why I chose these questions specifically to ask ChatGPT, and also to have a look at the way it approached its solutions. And we can narrow it down as well. We're able to like narrow down those questions. Whereas when you ask it to look at the internet, the only way we can narrow it down is saying, well, have you considered this data? Like, did you consider this data? What did you think about this data? Right? When coming up with your conclusion. And then what it tends to do is it tends to go like, oh, you're right, I didn't consider this data, I'm now considering this data, this is my new conclusion. And I always feel like I'm influencing ChatGPT when I do that, to give me the answer that I want, like a false bias towards an answer that I'm looking for. And so that's why I don't tend to ask those questions, because with the questions that I asked before, I'm not adding any bias. I've created the assumption that the government is trying to disclose UFOs, and then I've given it a theoretical situation, a framework for it to make logical conclusions from the theoretical structure. rather than a data-based process, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
No, I think that it makes perfect sense. Yeah, and it's not there yet to do any kind of like serious research either. As you can see, there's only 3 sources here, and I've been fucking around with the research side of it too and seeing how good it is. And yeah, definitely, it still kind of falls flat even on that front. But no, yeah, it's this is definitely yeah.
But give it a framework, Jim. Give it a framework. Say, assuming X, Y, and Z is correct, what would be sensible solutions for X, Y, and Z if they're correct? And it's very good. It is very, very good. Like, for example, if you said that you'd had an argument with your mum, right?
Yeah.
And you wanted to ask give sensible ways to make up with your mum, right?
Yeah.
It will come up with some brilliant solutions, ways that you may never have considered, right? And that's because when you give it that framework, it can come up with logical based solutions to the problem. And I would argue right now that the standard that it's actually answering those questions is extremely high. Really, really high. Whereas the others, so for example, I take more a pinch of salt about Avi Loeb, Jill Tarter, and Dr. Lisa, right, than I do with what it said about the kind of people it would choose. The actual people it chooses, I take with a big pinch of salt. The kind of people that it chooses, I take very seriously. That list of people, including the administrator for NASA, when we had that briefing from NASA, and basically the administrator for NASA was clearly hiding information when James was it Fox was asking about what how the UFO information, Dave Grush, that kind of stuff. It was just this stuff really highlights that if anybody's going to know, then he is one of those people that absolutely does know and would hide that information nationally from the country.
Yeah, this is this list is very interesting. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this whole thing is just it's very revelatory. It's just very, again, like, to see this. It's something like you have our intuitions on, but then you see it like logically painting this picture, and then it's just like, time will tell. Time will tell, I suppose, right? As to like, if in fact this is playing out. But I mean,
just one more, just one more for you, because I know you want to finish. But if you wanted the president, this is one more, right?
Yeah.
This is one I asked. If you wanted the president to have plausible deniability,
to have plausible deniability,
but still wanted to have a list of 15 people, who would they be? And I can't remember if it just removed the president, but I've got a feeling that it wasn't just the president that had been removed from that list, and that was really, I think, it was quite interesting.
Let's see what it says. Searching U.S. government. If the objective is to keep the president plausible deniability while still having a group of people inform UAPs, the list would likely include key figures in defense intelligence. So it's okay. So it's
how about that? Now look at the new list. Now look at the new list.
Oh, lovely. Deputy
Jim,
Defense
what do you think
Secretary.
about that, Jim? What do you think about that, Jim? If they don't want the president to know, look at the list. Do a direct comparison of the list, and that is just a mind boggler for me.
Director of the All Domain Anomalous Anomaly Resolution Office, number 12. Holy fuck! Yeah, where is it? Here is it up here. Here's the original one. Look at here. Look at this.
I just thought I'd just leave you on that one, because if you do a comparison of the two lists, you notice how different those lists are. How different those lists are. The computer didn't, the ChatGPT didn't just remove the president. You would have thought, to have plausible deniability, the only person he needs to remove is the president. He didn't. He removed everybody that's in the government. and left only the military.
The military-industrial complex. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Which is what's been going on, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just solved
Yeah.
it. We just solved it. Yeah. Well, on that note, Jesus Christ.
Are we gonna get done? I'm just a bit worried now, Jim.
Well, man, listen, we were talking about like making bombs and stuff with AI. I'm always like, well, you're gonna get the what is it? Is it MI5? I'm gonna get CSIS calling me. We'll probably have both of them bringing our phones up at some point. But yeah, this might be this is some spicy shit. But
this is some spicy stuff.
On that bombshell. With that logic, thank you everybody for coming.
I hope we're still good in a couple of days, Jim. I hope we're still good in a couple of days.
Hopefully you hear from us again. Yeah. Everybody. And thank you, Drunk Physics, for coming in. And it's always a good chat, man. It's always a good chat.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure. It's always, I love talking to you guys always.
Yes.
Jim, you're the king. Jim, you are the king, my friend.
Thank you, Brev. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, everyone. We'll talk to you guys again soon. And Drunk, until next time as well.
Yeah.
Take care.
I hope to see you again.
Take care, everybody. See you, man.
Bye-bye.
And you know what? What we're going to do is we're going to end this on Divinormous's song. So everybody, enjoy.
Screaming move the digits all night. Jim Russell, he's guiding the light.